Hey, fellow problem solvers, Colfax Math here. The only way you learn how to juggle is by practice. The only way you learn math is practice as well. So pull out a notebook and pencil, pause the video, do the problems before I do them, and you got to do a lot of problems to get good at them. What we have here is an ASVAB military placement exam, specifically the arithmetic reasoning portion of that exam. We have a practice test. It is 36 minutes, 30 questions. So that is about 1 minute per problem. There is no calculator allowed, so that means there's got to be a little bit of trick to the problem. I'm going to go ahead and do these problems in front of you. I think I'm going to split this into 2 videos. So in this video, I'll do 15 of the problems. In the next video, I'll do the second 15 problems. A lot of times I'll show you a trick or tip or trick to get to it. But first, you really want to pause the video, do the problem before I do it. Take notes. The act of actually taking notes in your notebook really helps the stuff stick. All right, with all that said, go ahead and pause the video, do this problem, then watch how I do it. So a car is towed 12 miles to the repair shop. It costs $3.50 per mile. How much does a tow cost? So that's going to be 12 times 350. Before I even go on, I'm going to look at my answers. Well, 12 times 3 is 36, so it's going to be a little bit more than 36. Only answer that's going to work, answer C. So I know it's quick, but you have to be pretty quick like that on a lot of these, fast time tests with no calculators. Let me do that a little more exactly. I have 350 times 12. I could do 12 times 3. That is 36. And then half, 0.5 is a half. Half of 12 is 6. And that gives me the 42. But I could have jumped right there once I looked at my answers. Okay, let's move on to number 2 right here. Pause the video, give this one a try. I'll show you how I do it rather than the long algebraic way to do it. The sum of 2 numbers is 70. One number is 8 more than the other number. So let me see, if my number were 36, the other one would be 8 more. That would make it 44. Together, those add up to 80. If this were 8 more, it would be 41. That's going to not end in a 0. This would be 43, and this would be 39, right? 31 and 39 add up to 70. So this is my correct answer here. Let me go a little slower and break down what I did. There are 2 numbers. They're going to add up to 70. One number is 8 more than the other number. So the other number is 8 more than the first number. What's the smaller number? So I know these are my smaller numbers. So I'm just going to add 8 to see what the other one would be. 36 plus 8 gave me that 44. Then I add 36 and 44. And I can see it's not 70. It's not 70. It's not 70. Here, these 2 together are equal to 70. And I could see this is 8 more than that one. That's how I know it's answer D. Okay, moving right along to problem number 3. Again, pause the video, give this a try before I do it. Sales manager buys antacids in a bottle by the gross. This is a tricky vocab word right there. More than anything, this is really about, do you know what that word means? If he goes through 3 bottles of antacid every day, how long will a gross last? Well, a gross is a dozen. So a gross is 12 times 12, or 144. So I want to know 144 divided by 3. Well, 150, if I round up to 150, divided by 3 is about 50. The only answer even close is answer D right here. So the correct answer is answer D. The key on this one is knowing that vocab word. A gross is a dozen. If I do the long division, 3 goes into 14 4 times to give me 12. 4 minus 2, 24. 3 goes into 24, 8. Correct answer is 48. Answer D right there. Moving right along to number 4. Jenny's test grades are 93, 89, 96, and 98. She wishes her average to be 95. So what does she need to score on her next test? So that means I have to do this plus all of those plus x divided by 5 equals that. Pretty long equation, but I know I want to be at 95. This first 93 is 2 under. 89, so the 93 is 2 under. 89 is 6 under my average. 96 is 1 over my average, and 98 is 3 over the average I want. This means on the downside, the ones below the average, I am 8 down and I am 4 up. So that means this one right here has to be 4 more to balance these out, right? This is going to add up to 8 under. I want this to add up to 8 over. So this one here has to be 4 more than the 95 or 99. Correct answer, answer B right there. Again, you got a minute per problem, no calculator. So there's got to be a trick. So that's the way I would have done this one. And if you want to do the whole algebra of it, which would take a while, you do 93 plus 89 plus 96 plus 98 plus I don't know, that's a variable x. All of those divided by the number of values 5 would have to be equal to 95. Then you'd have to do 95 times 5, add all of those up, subtract that from that large number. So this is a quicker way to do it because I know there has to be a trick. Okay, let's move on to number 5. A waitress earns an average tip of 12%, the cost of the food she serves. If she serves $375 worth of food, how much money in tips will she earn? So we want to take that $375, multiply it by that 12%. I think of this as like a little arrow, shooting it over 1, 2. So 12% is 0.12. I could multiply that all out, or I could just think 375 times 10 is 3750. This is a little bit below 37, and this is a lot more than 10. So that one's out, that one's out. So I only have 2 to choose from. One ends in a 2, one ends in a 5. So let's start multiplying this out. I have 10, 14, 15, carry the 1, 7. Here's my placeholder, 5, 7, 3, 0, 0, 14, 15. Carry the 1, 45. 45 is my correct answer right there. Problem number 6. How many square feet of carpeting a 12-foot by 12-foot room? What's really important is that you keep track of your units. In this case, they are the same. The room is 12 feet by 12 feet. We are not looking, whoops, one tick mark is feet. We are not looking for area. We're looking for square footage. So that's going to be everything inside. 12 times 12 is 144 square feet. Okay, problem number 7. Carpet stain protector costs 65 cents per square yard. That's a key word right there. How much will it cost to apply protectant to a 16-foot by 18-foot carpet? So I got, my units are different, so I got to take that into account. So I have a room that is 16 feet by 18 feet. I need to know that there are 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. That's an important thing to know. So I'm going to divide this by 3 to get 6 yards. And I'm going to divide this by 3 to get a little more than 5 yards. So I'm going to put a little plus there because it's a little bit more than 5 yards. The area is 6 yards times 5 yards, 30 square yards, times the 65 cents. About half, 50 cents is half. So half of 30 is about 15 or somewhere around there. There's only one even close. It has to be 20. So $20.80. I'm able to eliminate the other answers. The key on this problem, of course, is your unit conversion, knowing 3 feet equal 1 yard. I take my feet, convert it into yards. I don't need exact numbers because it's a multiple choice. I need approximate numbers. I find the total yardage, multiply it by the cost, and there's only one even close. Answer C. Problem number 8, a printing plant that produces baseball cards has an overhead of $6,000 and 18 cents to print each card, and they sell for 30 cents. How many cards must a printing plant sell each month in order to make a profit? Well, this one I got to kind of reason through. That's why it's an arithmetic reasoning problem. But if I sell it for 30 cents and it costs me 18 cents to make it, right? So this is my price that I sell it for, my cost. So that means I make 12 cents per card, right? So I make 12 cents per card, and I have a $6,000 amount. So I need to know how many times 12 cents is going to go into that 6,000 before I even start breaking even. So these are my fixed costs. These are my marginal costs, and then this is my selling price. So I make 12 cents per card. That has to go into that 6,000. So I'm going to take that 6,000, divide it by 12 cents. 12 goes into 65. So I don't even have to keep going. There's only one answer that's going to start with a 5, and it's going to be answer C right there. If I were to keep doing that, I'd move the decimal over 1, 2, 1, 2. 12 goes into 65 times. Bring down the 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So it would give me 50,000. But as soon as you do the first division, there's only one answer. It starts with a 5. Okay, Joe received an hourly wage at $8.15. He gets a 7% raise. How much does he make per hour now? 7 is pretty close to 5, somewhere between 5 and 10. So it's going to be a little bit more, like, 50 cents more, say, than 8. So that one doesn't make sense, and that one doesn't make sense. But I'm kind of torn between these two right here. I could probably approximate it, but I think I'm going to multiply it out because these two answers are so close. So I have $8.15. Remember that 7% converted to a decimal is 0.07. I think of this as an arrow shooting the decimal over 1, 2. So I'm going to multiply this by 0.07. 7 times 5, 35. Carry the 3, 10. Carry the 1, 56 plus 1, 57. I multiply 3 by the 0. My decimal is over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So he makes 57 cents more per hour. 57 and the 8.15 gives me a 2. 12, 6, 72. Good thing I multiplied that one out. It was close. So the correct answer is 872. All right, problem number 10 right here. Alice leaves her house driving east. So she's going this way at 45 miles per hour. 30 minutes later, Dave starts traveling. So 30 minutes later, I'm going to say half an hour later, Dave starts traveling. How must Dave travel in order to catch up with her? He leaves 3 hours after her. So she travels her 3 hours after he leaves. So Alice got a half-hour head start. So Alice is traveling for 3.5 hours. How many miles is 45 miles per hour times the 3.5 hours? So I do 45 times 3.5. This is a pretty hard one here. 25, carry the 2, 22, placeholder, 15, carry the 1, 13, 5, 7, 5, 1, decimal places over 1. C travels 157.5 miles. He's only traveling 3 hours, so how fast does he have to travel to cover that distance in 3 hours? So I'm going to do 3 into 157.5. It goes in here 5 times to give me 15. 7, it goes in here twice. I don't have to go any further because there's only one with 52, so it's answer C. Bring down the 5, and that's going to be 0.5, so 52.5, right? This was 6. Bring down the 15. If you want to do it all the way out. This one took almost a full minute. Hopefully I saved a little bit of time on the earlier ones before I got to this to use a little bit more time on that hard one there. Okay, problem number 11. A baker made 20 pies. That's a key number. A Boy Scout troop buys 1/4 of the pies. A preschool teacher buys 1/3 of the pies. And a caterer buys 1/6 of the pies. How many pies does a baker have left? So I have to get a common denominator here. I'm looking for a number that 4, 3, and 6 go into. That number would be 12. Because that number is 12, I can multiply this by a factor of 1 to get that common denominator of 12. So this fraction is the equivalent of 3/12. This one I have to multiply by 4/4 to get 12ths. That's going to give me 4/12. This one I multiply by 2/2 to get 2/12. So then these 3 people who bought, their sum is 7, 8, 9, 9/12. From the 1 whole, 12/12 minus 9/12 gives me 3/12. That's what's left. These people bought this, this, and this, adding up to that. 1 minus that gives me my remainder. Well, 3 goes into here 1 time, into here 4 times. So there is a quarter left. And then I have to do a quarter times 20. Half of 20 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. So a quarter would be 5. Answer D right there. These are getting tough, I know. But you could see I'm not doing that much computation on here. I'm kind of working with tricks. That is why it's called arithmetic reasoning, because you got to reason your way through. It's not any sort of gift. It is just a skill developed through practice. Okay, number 12. Only a few more in this video. Stay strong. Keep going. Keep doing them before I do them. Miriam bought 5 cases of motor oil. Each case usually costs $24, but she was able to buy for $22.50 a case. How much money did she save on her entire purchase? So we could do a lot of different math here, but the question we're really looking for is how much was saved. Well, if I do 24 minus $22.50, that's how much will be saved per case. So 24, 23, $1.50 per case was saved, and 5 cases were bought. So I got $1.50 per case times those 5 cases to get $7.50 right there. I can multiply it out to get 5, $2.50, $7.50. You can see this automatic distractor right there. I did save $1.50, but that was per case, and I want to know on the entire purchase right there. Okay, problem number 13. The security guard walks 6 city blocks when he makes a circuit around the building. If he walks at a pace of 8 city blocks every 30 minutes, how long will it take him to complete a circuit around the building, assuming he doesn't run into any thieves? So this is just a distractor. So he does 8 blocks in 30 minutes. And then his rate is 6. So the ratio we want is 6 to 8 because it is equivalent of 6 city blocks when he makes a circuit, and his pace is 8 city blocks. So how long will it take him to complete a circuit? Well, if he's walking actually faster than that, then it's got to be less time, right? So the ratio of what he does to the total is 6 to 8. I could reduce that fraction. 2 goes into there 3 times. 2 goes into there 4 times. So he will be able to do that 30 minutes in 3/4 of the time. Well, half of the time is 15. So that would be a half. Half of 15 is 7.5. So here's a half plus a quarter to give me 3/4, right? This is a half of it plus a quarter of it to give me 3/4 of it to get the correct answer, 2250, right there. Okay, problem 14, it's a really hard one. Remember, pause the video. I also have a book out you could buy on Amazon, and it goes through all of the skills. So if you're really not getting what I'm doing, maybe you need to go back and actually build on some of those skills and do some practice problems. These are pretty hard problems. These are also good for the Air Force qualifying exam. Okay, so the population of Grand Island, Nebraska grew by 600,000 people between 95 and 2005. 1/5 more than the town predicted. So it grew more, pen's not working, by 1/5. That's it. So that year, those years aren't really important. Let me clean that up. That doesn't even look like a 5. So this is 1/5. So I'm just going to find 1/5 more. Well, 1/5 is the same as 2/10, which is the same as 0.2. So I'm going to take that 0.2 and multiply it by that. 2 times 4 is 80,000. 0.2 times 5 is 100,000. So I could see that's the correct answer right there. 0.2 times 3 would be 60,000 and 20,000. So the 500,000 and the 100,000 give me the 600,000. So the town predicted it would have grown to 500,000. It grew 1/5 more. 1/5 of 500,000 is 100,000 to give me the 600,000. That's a hard one right there. All right, last problem until the next video. So let's see if we could get this one done right here. Joan is taking an admissions exam. She has at least 40 of the 60 questions right to pass. So 40 of the 60 questions right to pass. How many does she need to answer correctly? I'm just going to cancel those zeros first. 4 to 6. 2 will go in here twice. 2 will go in here 3 times. It'll give me 2/3. 2/3 is 66.67. I know that conversion from doing enough of these problems. Or you could say 2/3. 3 goes into 2. It doesn't, so I have to put a decimal there. 3 goes into 26 times to give me 18. It's going to give me a 2, a 6, 18, 2, 6, 6, 6, 6. I round those up to 67. All right, well, I appreciate you watching. Think about subscribing and supporting the channel. I love doing this. I love to see you be as successful as you can be on any standardized math exam. Your part is you got to just keep working at it. My part is I'll keep working through these sample tests and teaching the math on Colfax Math. All right, well, I appreciate you. Thank you.